Hey everyone, Wags here from Eagle Dynamics, and welcome to this final preview video of the DCS Normandy 1944 map. In the previous Normandy videos, we took a look at the Spitfire, UH-1, and a modern-day aircraft in the Normandy map, but today we'll take a look at the German aircraft, in particular the Focke-Wulf 190 and the Bf 109. So for the next few minutes, I want to give a little overview of where we are right now, as well as answer some questions that you guys placed on our forums. While this is going on, I'll have some videos running in the background of both the Bf 109 and the Focke-Wulf 90 doing their thing over the Normandy map. This is a work in progress though, so there's obviously some tuning still going on. Performance-wise, it's probably about on par with the Nevada map, but that will of course vary depending on how many objects are in the scene. Now probably the biggest thing you'll notice is the change in the lighting, and that's due to both the addition of deferred lighting as well as PBR lighting. So even though the objects are mostly the same, it probably looks a heck of a lot better now. Now let's talk about where we are and where we're going. Now first in regards to the map team, as you might imagine, most of them are wrapped up completing the Normandy map. But the good news is that several of them were already moved back onto the K-4 map, which will be a fundamental part of completing the 2.5 version, which will merge all of the different maps under a single executable. Now once the K-4 map is done, we can then of course move the map team back onto the Strait of Hormuz map. Now in terms of our aircraft guys, we have both the modern guys and the World War II guys. Now of course the modern guys are really wrapped up in the Hornet right now and making some really excellent progress. And once the Normandy map is out, we'll start doing a fair amount of updates about that project. And then with the World War II guys, of course, they're maintaining and updating the existing World War II aircraft, but at the same time, they're already working on the P-47. Now, other elements we're working on are improved effects like the new explosions, better copy protection, a better GUI, and of course, better multiplayer. Now, that's not to say that there are not other things we're working on, but those are the big primary items right now. So that's where we are right now and where we're going in the near future. And as things progress and we get closer to different releases, we'll talk about those new projects at that point. But now let's go ahead and move on to some Q&A. The first question is whether or not we'll be able to place forward operating bases, much like you can place helicopter landing pads in the game right now. And the answer is yes. We do plan on adding grass fields into the mission editor. It's just very much still in development and too early to show at this point, but it is certainly planned. The next question asks if the Normandy map will have moving maps like you do have in the A10C and the K-50. Well, you definitely have those in the K-50 given that the maps are based off the in-game map, but other maps like you have in the A10, which are based on ONCs and TPCs and so on, no, just because we really don't have access to those type of maps for the period. The next question asks about airfields and very detailed modeling of the Channel Islands. The answer is no. From the very beginning, this map was all about Normandy, and even the addition of Southern England was added very recently and just for gameplay. And there has to be a point at which enough is enough to add to this map. It'll allow us to move to other maps, like again the Caucasus, the Strait of Hormuz maps and such. The next question asks if there will be ground services like refueling and rearming in the Normandy map, and absolutely, it will function just the same as it does in the other maps. The next question asks if there are mountains and hills in the maps, and absolutely, particularly in more of the southern part of the map, there tends to be a lot of nice rolling hills, which is pretty handy if you want to do terrain masking and that sort of thing. Next is a question about when the keys will be available for the Kickstarter backers, and keep your eyes open next week, folks. Next, we have a question about bomber formations, and we actually have 2 new bomber formations in the editor now, specifically for the B-17, which has both co-altitude and split altitude formations in a standard B-17 boxed formation type. The next question was asking about the ability for static objects to emit sound, and we really don't plan that. We feel it's actually a lot easier to produce sounds based on a mission editor trigger. The next question was about other World War II aircraft that operated over Normandy in 1944, and we have a lot of those actually already planned in the assets pack, and you can see that in the video notes. Next, we have a question of if there will be a Normandy and 109 and 190 bundle pack. And given our love of our studio director for bundles, probably just a matter of time. Next, we have someone asking if we can put additional armor plates on tanks, and really no plan for that at this point. First and foremost, this is a flight sim, not a tank sim. Now, granted, we're going to have the assets pack and future combined arms capability at some point, but at no point are we trying to be a tank sim at this point. So speaking of tanks, we also have a question asking if Russian 1944 tanks will be included, and really no plans, particularly this is Normandy. Now at some point if we do a Eastern Front World War II map, then it probably makes sense, but not really right now. So speaking of the assets pack, we have a question asking if all of the asset vehicles will be available at launch or later on. And again, I'll direct you to the video notes, which has a listing of what will be available at launch and what will be coming later on. Now the next question I think is about the beach fortifications in Normandy, and none of these are actually built into the map. All the different objects are placed in the editor. So this allows you the freedom of doing a pre-war or post-war type scenario, or to your heart's content, model the actual landing beaches in June 1944. So as the video portion of this video is coming to a close, thank you very much for watching the video and all the previous videos and all the great comments that you guys have had. So we sincerely hope you enjoy this upcoming map and all the great possibilities that it brings. Thank you.